Thoughts on Dehya? I heard she'll be mid, but who cares about meta? Okay, here's my opinion. Based on the limited information that I haven't sought out leaks, but leaks just like, they reach us no matter what. And obviously a lot of other CCs are talking about it. My hope is that Dehya will follow a similar trajectory to Kokomi, where when Kokomi was released, she didn't have a signature set. Her kit didn't really seem to make sense, because I don't know if you were there during the first Kokomi run, healing like incremental healing was not necessary. Like one single burst heal was enough for your team, especially if you had a shield. There was a time that if you used a shield character, you didn't really even need like a healer. So at the time, people saw Kokomi, who was like primarily a healer and can't also deal damage, as just a waste of space, which is why a lot of people skipped her. But with the advent of corrosion, incremental damage with bloom and hyper bloom, enemies that can deal lots of small damage to your entire team, Kokomi was like the first character to spearhead a new meta. Although her scaling seems strange to me, which of course I would know nothing about, but let's say she had split scaling, that wouldn't make sense to me. What she does offer is a mechanic that we haven't yet seen in the game, which is off-field damage mitigation, which is actually quite similar to Kokomi, except that she takes damage instead of healing the team, but she prevents damage. It's like preventative. So what I would hope, and what I do hope, Dehya is the first character in the movement of a new meta. Maybe there's an upcoming on-field character that like needs to maintain like incredibly high HP or something like that. Like not max HP, but actual held HP. Or maybe Dehya's gonna get a signature set that her damage scales with how many hits she takes, right? So that's my guess, and my hope is that they wouldn't work on a character without intentions to make, especially a 5-star, that they wouldn't release a limited 5-star that doesn't have a place in the Genshin meta. That is my hope for her kit, that we just don't have the answer for what her purpose is yet. Did I say limited? I meant to say 5-star. But that's another thing that makes it seem kind of weird, is her being on the standard banner can mean one of two things. One, she's not important and not necessary, and she's going to be replaced by a character who can do what she does better. Or it means that she is essential for the meta. I feel like her being on the standard either means that she's super important or not important at all. That's my guess, is that she'll either they just super messed up on her kit and she will be garbage and useless, or she will be really good and we just don't know how yet. That is my official opinion. She'll either be good, mid, or bad. I have a hard time believing that Genshin would release a character without them having a very express specific purpose. Maybe Hoyo's just trolling leakers. Yeah, her kit's gonna be like completely different than how everyone expects. I mean, it really could be the difference of signature set. That could really make or break a meta or make a character. And I don't think that Hoyo is dumb. Like I think Hoyoverse is capable of making good characters.
Just enjoy a character and overlook the meta though.
Well, you can. That's a good point. I'm glad you bring that up. You can. You don't have to care. A character doesn't have to be meta for you to enjoy them. But the point is, but at the same time, it's not wrong for us to expect Genshin to create usable characters that can help us beat the most difficult content in the game. Those two things can coexist. Players can be happy with the character's design and pull for them regardless of damage output or usability or whatever. And there could be another side of the Genshin players who can theorycraft and expect Hoyoverse to make high functional characters. So I don't think there's any need to have like contention between two people. Like I hate when I hear, it's so annoying, people being like, I'm gonna pull for Dehya no matter what. Real Dehya stands will pull for her no matter what her damage output is. Okay, good for you. Fine, whatever. That doesn't make you better than anyone else. It also doesn't make you better than people who want their characters to work. That's the whole point of having new playable characters, is to play them. If we only cared about like design and character, then they wouldn't need to be playable characters. We could just the point is that we build teams, and Genshin has an incredible combat system, and we want new characters to function within that combat system. Like you don't have to talk to me about playing the meta characters. Do I look like I play all meta characters? Like
another thing I believe what's happening is the more characters
I level
being
90
released,
Lisa.
they're probably dropping them
Yai's
on
level
standard,
1.
then having to wait 2 years for a rerun. They can't drop exciting characters on standard, but they can drop new characters to standard.
It's true. I guess they have like, the more characters they add to the game, the longer we'll have to wait for reruns, or they'll have to run like 4 banners at the same time. I think meta crafters and people who care about damage like can let people who don't care about meta enjoy characters that they enjoy, but at the same time, people who just enjoy playing characters regardless of damage output can stop acting like ninnies and getting personally offended when a theory crafter says that their favorite Meow Meow character doesn't deal damage that they should be dealing for a DPS. Oh my gosh, you don't like my comfort character. No, the point, people complaining about characters' kits actually means that they do like that character. Most of the people who are complaining or just like trying to understand why Dehya's kit is the way it is because they like Dehya and they want to play her. But it's if we're playing meta and we want to see big damage, which most people do, they want her to be good. It's a complaint out of love. Like, I want to play her, so I need her to be good. Maybe Dehya's comfy character, she has interruption resistance. Yeah, maybe she kind of functions like a, I mean, damage mitigation. That's nice. You could. It means that for me, I'm thinking about Ayato, and I'm thinking about how ideally I would like to have him on field for a very long time because he needs to deal all of his like single strikes. I'm wondering if Dehya provides damage mitigation and does she provide any resistance to interruption? Damage mitigation, def is still a useless stat. If that's the case, then it could, if there's a character that needs to be on field for a long time and vulnerable, then, or maybe even like Hu Tao. If you had damage mitigation for Hu Tao and Dehya herself could also deal damage, that would give you, okay, hear me out. This is just a concept, okay? And it really depends on Dehya's functionality, but you could have damage mitigation for an on-field character. You could have double hydro and double pyro getting the attack increase, which it doesn't really do anything for Hu Tao actually, but you get the idea. Like, but my point is that it could be a flex slot for teams that feel that absolutely have to have either like a healer or a shielder. Like, it just provides more options, but all of this relies on her having a functional kit. Dehya could be my slot instead of Zhongling for Hu Tao National with Kazuha. I mean, Hu Tao has a cooldown on her skill. I on teams that I've had where Hu Tao is the primary DPS, there have been times where I'm like waiting for her cooldown to reset. So if we had Dehya or a character who could deal like a quick boom, 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 done, and switch back to Hu Tao, you could have just better use of like maximizing time.
Alisa Blazelin says, personally think they want to add a certain amount of standard banner characters per nation, sole exception being Inazuma characters, cause
yeah,
you
can't
get there without story progression, so you'd be locked out of level up materials for them. This is already the case for limited Inazuma characters, but at least with limited characters you chose to get them. You deserve to lose a 50-50. Onion sip.
Yeah, that'd be so annoying to get. Like, if you got let's see, who would it have been? Inazuma 5-star standard character? But imagine getting an Inazuma 5-star character and having to, like, on your first couple days of playing Genshin and just being completely locked out of leveling. Ito, oh yeah. Actually, Ito would have been a perfect limited 5-star because we don't have a 5-star Geo limited character yet. Or my opinion is I could have always seen Albedo being put on the standard banner at some point. I thought that was going to happen.
A lot of people seems to think attack stats does not do anything for Hu Tao. This is common misconception.
Oh.
Hu Tao damage scales with attack. It's just that she has an innate mechanic to turn her HP stat into attack stat. So attack stat boost still works for Hu Tao.
I return to my previous point that this team, if Dehya has damage mitigation, Hu Tao can self-heal, and then Xingqiu can operate as like a you know, he heals like passively. If you wanted to have a dual DPS on a Hu Tao Dehya team, that would make Hu Tao more survivable. You could keep her at lower HP for longer without healing her and without risking her dying. I think Dehya has potential. I don't know about her kit enough to say for sure. I haven't done any deep dives on her kit because of course I wouldn't do that.